For Yahweh God, we thank you for everything. That which has been, is, shall ever be. For you and you alone. You are the creator of it all, seen and unseen. Yahweh God, bless us in our goings and comings. Bless us with the spirit of obedience. May you continue to have mercy upon each and every one of us. May your spirit bless us as we go, as we come. May your spirit encompass about us. May we love you with all our mind, body, and might. Amen.
Amen.
As we commence, the name of our congregation is Yah In Me, because this is our determining effort, is to have a communication with Yah. Yahweh God says in the book of Malachi, which is the book before you go into what they call the New Testament, he says in Malachi 4, verse 4, remember the Torah of Moses my servant, which I command unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. He said, remember. Because if he's telling you to remember something, is because you will have a tendency to what? To forget it. But he's saying to you to remember. And he's saying to you in Exodus chapter 20, verse 8, remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. And he's saying, remember it, to keep it holy. And these is so important to the children of Israel. Because as it says here, and in the point of remembering, it also tells the children of Israel to give them a point of reference. Where it tells them, it says, work out your own salvation with trembling and fear. So how can you work out your own salvation with trembling and fear if you don't know who you are? And what are the boundary lines by which you should maintain so that you can watch the circumstances unfold before your eyes? Let's go to 1 Corinthians. To answer this question, let's go to 1 Corinthians so that we will understand that Yahweh God, 1 Corinthians chapter 8. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 5. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many. So there be many gods, there be many lords. He said, but to us there is but one God, the Father, whom are all things, we in him, and one Lord, Christ, by whom are all things, and we by him. So they have claimed their God, because he said gods and lords, there be many. And therefore, in the book of Malachi, how you doing, my brother? In the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 5, it says, for all people will walk everyone in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of our God forever and ever. So all people will walk in the name of their God. Their God, whom they have prescribed to themselves to be God, as it says in the book of Acts, chapter 11, and as we go in the book of Acts, and we find that when we want to understand, as they say, gods and lords, there be many, we want to understand that we who will walk in the name of our God must claim what God we will walk in.
Acts what?
We're going to Acts chapter...
11.
Okay, let's go to Acts chapter 3, verse 25. Ye are the children of the prophets, and of the covenant which God made with our father, saying unto Abraham, and in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. And we go over to down on, that's at Acts chapter 3, verse 25. Acts chapter 4, verse 9. If we this day be examined of the good deeds done to the important man, by what means he is made whole, be it known unto you all, and to all the people of Israel, that by the name of Christ of Nazareth, whom ye crucified, whom God raised from the dead, even by him does this man stand here before you whole. This is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, which is become the head of the corner. Neither is there any salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. So this has it made a statement. It says that gods and lords there be many, and every man shall walk in the name of his God. So the thing is that you have to make the decision what God you going to walk in, what God you going to serve, because there be many gods. And therefore, we must go to understand that which is mentioned in the New Testament is also mentioned in the Old. We will go into Proverbs. Proverbs 18 begins to unravel that 18:10. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. So is this the same name as Christ, or is this another name? Because gods and lords there be many. And you have to make that choice of what God you're going to say. Because every man shall walk in the name of his God. And therefore, you have to know what are the criteria that you will use to determine what God you will serve. If we go into Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Verse 25. Chapter 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our God as he has commanded us. So as it says, and the name is a strong tower, and the righteous runneth into it and is safe. So this name is accessed by righteousness. Therefore, we move accordingly. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. And Ezekiel tells a situation that becomes very nerve-wracking to those that would be righteous, and those that would wicked would give an information to the righteous to cause a disturbance, whereas they were depending upon them to explain to them or give them guidance, where they give them the wrong guidance by allowing lies and the wicked to be put in positions that they should never have been able to be put in that position, because they was putting wickedness in a position of authority. As it says, because with lies ye have made the hearts of the righteous sad. That's Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 22. Whom I have not made sad, and strengthened the hands of the wicked, that he should not return from his wicked ways by promising him life. So the point is that what is being said is that the wicked man is being put in a position of strength, and which by lies that they began to tell, it made the righteous sad, because the righteous didn't have a means by which they would be able to give a sort of measurement to their own righteousness, and how to do that wasn't clear to them, because they was looking to the leaders to give them that direction. And therefore, that's why I said the leaders caused the people to err. Proverbs 4. Let's go to see Proverbs 4. Proverbs 4. Proverbs 4, verse 19. Proverbs 4, verse 19 states, "The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble." So the wicked ways is ways of darkness. And Proverbs 13, verse 9 says, "The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out." So the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. In the book of Job, it tells us that the circumstances would become so critical, because Job chapter 9 verse 24 says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So if the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and the light of the wicked shall be put out, what light do you and I have? Because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and therefore they have made the righteous sad, whom Yahweh has not made sad. So what are you going to use to have stabilization in your life? It says in the book of Habakkuk.
What book is it?
Habakkuk. If we read in the book of Habakkuk, or that it was told to them and given instructions on the circumstances that they must. He told Habakkuk, he said, write it plain. He said, make it plain. I'm in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may read, that he may run that readeth it. In other words, that the circumstances that will be pending, he told him to write it, to make it clear, so that the one that would read it might become aware of it and make position himself in the earth, that he might run, because the circumstances was going to come and be a horrible circumstances. So where must we run to? Let's go into Psalm 9, because we have to realize, it says Psalm 9 verse 18, "For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever." So he say that the needy and the expectation shall not always be forgotten. Even the book of Revelation, it tells us in the book of Revelation chapter 2, speaks of it to make it clear to us, that he says, "I know thy works and thy tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich." So Yahweh God is saying that even though you in a circumstances that might seem to be somewhat misleading because of the physical that you see, he said, "I know thy works and thy tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogues of Satan." He tells you that. He says, what you see is not necessarily what it is. So he's encouraging you. This is words of encouragement. In the book of Proverbs, he's encouraging you more. He's saying, I know how it seems. I know what it looks like. But what it looks like, it ain't that way at all. It's something else. He's saying in Proverbs 13, verse 7, it says, there is that maketh himself rich, yet has nothing. And there is that making himself poor, yet has great riches. So we can't always look at the physical to determine. And he's sending things so that you might not be discouraged as the righteous was made sad by the lies of the wicked. He says in Isaiah chapter 3, Isaiah chapter 3 says, 3 verse 10, he said, say ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for he shall what? Eat the fruit of his doings. These are words of encouragement. He says, say this to the righteous. Mention it to him, that it's going to be well with you, for what you're going to receive is what you're doing is what you will receive. In other words, righteousness. What is righteousness? Keeping of the commandments. If you want to know what is your boundaries, the commandments is your boundary to let you know that you're going in the right direction. When we first opened this up, we said that the circumstances that we're looking for was, he said, remember the Sabbath day. Did not he say that? Why did he say to remember the Sabbath day? Because he knew that you would be looking for something. And the Sabbath will give you what you're looking for. But if you would not be attentive in what you're looking for, you would lose it, because it would be your way back home. What is the Sabbath? It says, Exodus chapter 31, verse 12. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak thou also unto my son Israel, saying, verily my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is what? A sign. It's a sign.
Exodus 30.
That's right. He said it's a sign between me and you. I'm talking to you. 31. He said, this is my sign, that I will let you know that you're going in the right direction. Because he said, remember the Sabbath. So he told you to remember, so he can speak to you by you keeping the Sabbath. Whereas you know that if you're keeping it, this would be a sign to you, telling you that everything is well with you. Continue to go. And that's why he said in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 22, for the Jews required a sign. You required, and you're getting a sign. You have two signs in the Torah, the Shabbat, and you have another one. And I'm going to show you that. It said, for verily my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generation, that ye may know. Not believe, but know. Ye shall keep my Sabbath, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiles it shall surely be put to death. So the Sabbath is a what? A sign. It said the Jews seek a sign. And your sign is in the Sabbath. And what else? You had another sign that Yahweh said. Let's go to Psalm 19. That was another sign. What did he say here? Psalm 19, it says, moreover by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. What was it that he would warn you? He says, the Torah of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandments of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. The judgment of Yahweh are true, and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey in the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. So your warning is in the commandments of Yahweh, because Yahweh told you. He told you, he said, bind these what? For a sign. See, you're looking for what you already have. He said, bind these for a sign, that you may know. So the Shabbat is a sign. He says, and I like to read this to you because these are the things that we search for. He says, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as fortless between thy eyes, and thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. That was your sign, the commandments. That's Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 8. Your commandments. Now, as we go on to enhance our ability to make our destiny to where it is tangible, to where we can watch and see the results of the circumstances that will be pending upon the earth, what should we do? Let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 55. Isaiah 55, verse 6. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. It says seek him while it is possible to find him. Because there's going to come a time that you won't be able to find him. So he says, seek me while you can find me. In Jeremiah 29, verse 13, it says here, and ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart. So Yahweh is not just telling you to look for him without giving you a guarantee that you would find him. Now, where would we find him at? Let's go to Isaiah. Let's go back to Isaiah, and I'm going to show you where to find Yahweh at. Isaiah 34. This is where you find him at. Isaiah 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh. That's where you're going to find him, in the book. What book is this? Yahweh's book. And read, and not one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth it has commanded, and his spirit it has gathered them. So this is the book of Yahweh. Yahweh says, seek ye out of the book. And when you do this, this is what you obtain. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't, and when you seek him, and then as it says in Deuteronomy chapter 30, Deuteronomy chapter 30, Deuteronomy chapter 30, Deuteronomy chapter 30, and it shall come to pass when all these things shall come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahweh thy God has driven thee. And shall return unto Yahweh thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul. That then Yahweh will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether Yahweh thy God has scattered thee. See, so you're not lost. Can you understand what I'm saying? So Yahweh God and Zechariah, where will we do this at? Let's go to Zechariah chapter 10. Zechariah chapter 10, verse 9. It says, and I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in a far country, and they shall live with their children and turn again. Aren't we doing that? We're living with our children and we're turning again. Why? Because we have sought Yahweh. He's shown us Now we're turning, and we are teaching our children that if they want to return with us, it's acceptable. If they don't, you leave them where they at. Because like I said, it's about your salvation. And your salvation can only come about by you being obedient to the commandments of Yahweh, not to the rudeness of your children or to your friends. You let their hand go, and you go about your business. That's right. See, I'm at Ezekiel chapter 6. I'm at verse 9. Yet will I leave a remnant, that ye may have some that shall escape the sword among the nations, when ye shall be scattered through the countries. And they that escaped of you shall remember me among the nations, whether ye shall be carried captive, because I am broken with their whorish heart, which has departed from me, and with their eyes which go whoring after their idols, and they shall lord themselves for the evil which they have committed in all their abomination. So Yahweh God says that aren't we remembering him? Mm-hmm. This is the remembrance. Sitting here learning about this is the remembrance of Yahweh. Mm. You understand? And therefore Yahweh is dealing with us accordingly. That's why he says in Jeremiah, see now you know your way back home. That's your compass. See, Jeremiah 32. See, that's your compass to let you know where you travel. Jeremiah 32 verse 19. And it says here, Jeremiah 32:19. Great in counsel and mighty in works, for thy eyes are open upon all the ways of the sons of men, to give everyone according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing. See, you're going to reap the fruit. That's why he says, say ye to the righteous, that all shall be well, for you shall what? Eat the fruit of your doings, what you have done. You know, that's why I say, say ye to the righteous, that all shall be well with him. These are the things. Encouragement. And what does he say further? He says to you in Isaiah 41. That's why he says this to you. Isaiah 41 verse 10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy Elohim. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Thou shalt seek them and shall not find them, even them that contend with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. For I, Yahweh thy God, will hold thy hand and say unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, said Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. So Yahweh is encouraging. He said, man, don't fear. Stop fearing. He said, don't fear. He said, because he's going to give each one of us according to our work. And therefore, he says, say ye to the righteous, you're all right. He's telling, and then we go to Isaiah 44. Yahweh God is encouraging. Isaiah 44, verse 1 to 2. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus said Yahweh, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jezreel, whom I have chosen. And Yahweh is always telling us, he said, man, stop fear. Stop. Don't fear what's getting ready to come on this earth. This ain't got nothing to do with you, for you will eat the fruit of your doing. You must measure your righteousness. That's why he says in Jeremiah 43, verse 1 to 2, But now, thus said Yahweh that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formeth thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. He's telling you, he's encouraging you. And that's Jeremiah 41, 10 to 14, 44, 1 to 3, 1 to 2, 43, 1 to 2. And therefore, he say, the circumstances is of such. It's almost finished. It's 10 o'clock. We start. It's almost finished. You got to sit right there. So, what is happening is this. Yahweh God is telling us that when the circumstances go down, when we read in the book of Ezekiel, he tells us, Ezekiel 9 plus 1 to 6, but let's start at